yourself talking to yourself while you're in the room by yourself, that's okay. You can do that and get yourself a job. Let's talk about Spark Hire interviews. So, if you like to talk alone to your computer screen by yourself, you can do that in the Spark Hire interview. So keep watching and listening to TalentSmiths Lunch and Learn Live as I share with you 5 ways to stand out in your Spark Hire interview. You can talk to yourself or to the computer screen at least. Hello, everyone. Janet Smith here of TalentSmiths, and this is Lunch and Learn Live. Welcome. TalentSmiths is looking to partner with new organizations in the new year. If you are in a human resources organization and you need to grow your human resources team, reach out to us because we'd love to chat with you to see if it makes sense for us to help you. And if you are an HR professional and you're looking for new positions in the new year, a new career in the new year, then check out what we have on the screen. TalentSmiths is working with organizations that are looking to hire a human resources manager, an HR generalist, as well as a director of talent acquisition. If you have these skills, comment below and let us know, or register on our website so that you can receive full consideration and we can chat with you to see if this makes sense for your career. You can tune in to TalentSmith's Lunch and Learn live stream every Thursday. You can find us on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live, or on LinkedIn Live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m., where we are bringing you tips for your career. And in the month of February, we're focusing on you and your interview. We're focusing on interviewing in 2021 because interviewing this year looks different than it has before. So it may be a Zoom interview, a virtual interview that's a one-way interview. That's what we're going to talk about today. Or it may be a phone interview. It's likely not going to be face to face, although it could. But if it's not, I want to help you prepare. So check out the lineup of events. Lean in closer as we go through. In week one, we talked about recalling your story, answering 21 top interview questions. And in week two, we talked about embracing your story with 7 tricky Zoom interview questions. This week, we're talking about telling your story, 5 ways to stand out in a Spark Hire one-way interview. And next week, we're talking about making her story, 5 smart questions to ask in the phone interview. This is Black History Month. We are supporting Black history and we are encouraging you to share your history in your her story. Talent Smiths has new merch that encourages you to share your story, share the narrative of your story. For all of my female professionals out there, share the narrative of your own story and get it out there the way that it should be, the way that you want it to be, so that it's communicated the way it needs to be. No one can share the narrative of your story quite like you. So here's some TalentSmiths merch to support you and encourage you to share the narrative of your story. You can find a link in the description that shares with you exactly how to purchase your merch, which is why in the month of February, we're talking about interviews and we're talking about you sharing your story. And today we're going to talk about 5 ways to stand out in a Spark Hire virtual one-way interview. And I have a question for you before we go into that. Have you ever experienced a one-way interview? This is an interview where you record your responses up front, in front of the computer, by yourself. Comment below and let me know because I'm curious to know if anyone has already experienced a Spark Hire interview or an interview where they are recording their responses. Comment below and let me know. I'm curious. My experience in a Spark Hire interview was quite interesting, and I want to share with you what you can expect as you go through a Spark Hire interview in the event that you go through a Spark Hire interview, which is one way. Remember, it's a one-way interview. It's just you and the computer. And I want to share with you what you can expect during this process. So let's lean in a little bit closer. So, the Spark Hire interview, what is it? Well, it's a one way platform where you record your answers and the employer reviews those answers at a later time. You are in front of the computer by yourself talking to yourself, but that's okay because you may get the career of your dreams talking to yourself in front of the computer by yourself. So that's okay. And in this one way platform, another thing that you can expect is it to be at most 10 questions, and you will get one question at a time. They'll come on your screen individually. You won't have a list of questions, they all will all come to you one at a time. As you get that question, you have a chance to read it and to think about it and to gather your thoughts before you hit the record button and before you give your response to that particular question. The amount of time that you get to answer the question, it depends on the hiring manager that's setting this interview up for you. So the amount of time that you can have to complete the question could be anywhere from 30 seconds or it can be 30 minutes. It has been my experience in my previous Spark Hire interviews that I've had about a minute or a minute and a half to answer questions. So, depending upon the time that you get to answer the questions, that's an indicator to you of what the potential employer could be expecting. If they give you 30 seconds to answer a question, that's letting you know that they expect your answer to be pretty short, pretty quick, pretty concise. If they give you 3 minutes to answer a question, that's letting you know that they expect your answer to be a little bit longer than 30 seconds. So, this gives you time to share details in your story. This gives you time to paint a picture for your hiring manager, for the potential hiring manager, of exactly how you handle certain situations. Gives you a time to share the narrative of your story exactly how you want to share that narrative. The hiring manager also sets the number of takes that you can have to record your answers. You can have anywhere from one take, you only get one turn, or you can have an unlimited amount of times to re record your answer. So if you record your answer and then you listen to it, you don't like it, you can re record it. But it depends on how many times they give you to retake this. Pay attention to the amount of time you have to complete the answer and the amount of retakes that you have to do your answer over if you need to. I highly encourage you to complete your Spark Hire one way interview on your computer. Completing this on your phone will not do you justice. So when you're completing it on your computer, you look more professional, you look more at ease because you are resting and you don't have to hold your phone. When you complete this on your phone, you want to make sure that your equipment has been tested, that your microphone is working and it is not on mute because you do not want to answer your questions like this with no one hearing you. You want them to hear what you have to say. Check your camera, check your background to make sure that everything is set up before you start to record. So let's talk about those 5 ways to stand out in your Spark Hire interview. Let's talk about that. The first way for you to prepare is to bring energy to the interview with a smile. Talking with a smile naturally gives you an added amount of energy into what you're saying. It gives a burst of enthusiasm into what you're saying as well. When they are listening to your responses, they not only are listening to your responses, they want to see how you communicate and they want to, of course, learn about your qualifications and your skills. They want to hear how you respond. So respond with a smile and respond with enthusiasm. Number two, look into the camera and not into the screen. So this is me looking into the camera. And when you look into the camera, it really feels, although no one's in front of you, it really feels for the viewer that you're looking at them and that you're talking to them. If you look into the screen and look at yourself, that's not having good eye contact. Like right now, I'm looking at the screen, so I'm not looking at you. Looking into the camera versus looking at yourself on the screen makes a big difference. And that's a way that you can stand out from everyone else because the majority of people are going to look at themselves on the screen and get distracted. But focus on the camera and focus on answering the question. You can even tape a picture of someone so that you can resemble as if you're having an interview with your family member, with your spouse, with your child, with someone else. Tape a picture of a face by the camera that you can look at that face and talk to that person. So, number three, a way on how to stand out in your Spark Hire interview is that you practice with a timer because your responses are limited. You have a limited amount of time to give your responses. So, you want to practice and make sure that you can keep your responses in that time frame so that you get everything out that you want to say within that specific time frame. Practice with the timer. Before we go into the fourth way to stand out in your Spark Hire interview, I want to encourage you to subscribe to TalentSmith's YouTube channel. We now have our latest productivity music playlist up for your listening pleasure. You can listen to our productivity music playlist while at work, while at play, while exercising, while doing chores, while enjoying some time away from your computer. And if you've missed any of the previous weeks of our Interview 2021 series, you can binge watch them here so that you can prepare for your interview. And of course, before you're preparing for your interview, you want to present yourself in the best light. You want to quantify the experience on your resume. You want to write a disruptive cover letter, and you want to optimize your LinkedIn profile. These are three key tools that will help you position yourself where you need to be in 2021. You can get Talent Smith's Level Up Digital Career Planner, and we will walk you through how to quantify the experience on your resume, how to write a disruptive cover letter, and how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Inside of our planner, we take you through step by step on how to update your tools. You'll find a link in the description on how you can get your Level Up Career Planner. Let's go into that fourth question on how you can stand out in your one-way interview. So, number four, you can have your notes, you can have your story, you can even have the job description. After all, it's just you in front of the camera. So, if you need to have your notes there so that you can remember the details of your story, that's okay. If you need to have the notes there so that you can remember the details of the job description, that's okay as well. Have your notes that you can stand out in your one-way interview. And number five way that you can stand out from the crowd in your one-way interview is you want to ask about the follow-up. You want to show them that you are concerned about the next steps in this process. You want to know if you are following up next, they are following up next, if they have more interviews, if you are the last interview, ask about the follow up so that you don't have to assume and so that they know that you're interested in knowing the next steps. You can get your 21 answers to the top interview questions by following the link in our description so that you can download this worksheet for yourself. You can prepare for your 2021 interview so that you won't feel nervous, you won't feel stumped, and you won't feel like they're tricking you because because you have already prepared for those top interview questions. And if you have any questions for me, you can comment below and let me know. I'm answering questions in the comments. If you're watching this on the replay, comment below with your questions. If you're watching us right now, comment below with your questions as well. Because Talent Smiths is meeting you where you are, whether it's on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, or even on Instagram. We are meeting you in your social media platform of choice.